Hello guys, well we are finally here. We are back on Transport Fever 2. Took some time and a lot of false starts on my part. We are finally here and this is Eurasia Island. A completely fictional place, but it does utilise the Taiwan version 1 map that you can find on the workshop. Just made a few changes for our benefit. If I just bring up this green, we can see we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 towns currently. One of which, as you can see, is mainland. No cargo requirements. And the reason for that is, it's literally, this is mainland. Has a coal mine, has iron ore, and it has some oil. And we're going to get around to putting a dock here. And basically that is going to provide our island here with some raw materials. But before we go into that, let's get on with a bit of a fictional backstory for this series. Essentially, Eurasia Island is a series that's going to be set, as you can see, September 2nd, 1945 is the day we start. And for all you history buffs out there, that is the day that Japan, Asia, formally surrendered in the Second World War. That was the day the documents were signed, and it's officially, though here in UK we celebrate it on August 15th, that is VJ Day, essentially. I believe in America they do celebrate it on September 2nd, and of course it is also celebrated in Japan. But of course they don't call it VJ Day. What they call it, loosely translated, is the day for mourning of war dead and praying for peace. And that was officially adopted in 1982 by an ordinance issued by the Japanese government. So yeah, that's when we're going to be started. And the premise for this series is, got our island here and sparsely populated, and infrastructure is pretty much non-existent. The only place that's really got anything is here at Goyomai, which was an old US airbase. Essentially they took over this island and were able to use it as a launch pad for attacks in the Second World War. Apart from that, there's no real infrastructure on the island. I mean, there's some basic roads linking the towns, but aside from that, there's very little. And that's what we're going to be doing. Looking, and I'm seeing a perfect pass through the mountains there for us to take advantage of. There is one path up here. Well, that's ugly. We'll have to fix that. But yeah, essentially, path through mountains, which comes down to Abira. And if we go over here, single track to Sakehama. which is what we just see a few seconds ago. We make our way around. Instead of dragging the screen, I'll do it this way. It's a bit smaller. We have food processing plant here, which is miles away from Nakamiyu, and then following background, see red kind of dead ends there. We have a farm here at Nemuro. Making our way further along, we get to Furen, which is going to end up being our industrial centre of the island. As you can see, its demands are for tools and machines. And here we have Kawakita. Before we come around, we have Mita, which has got a couple of farms, and Ihoro before we get back to Goyomai. We also have Shantu, which is based out here on an island all on its own. Not quite sure what we're going to do with that yet, but the map generated with the town out there, and it seems fun to use that at some point. We also have an uninhabited island over there. So, plans for this series. Well, we're going to use a lot of Asian vehicles and Asian inspiration. It's not going to be 100% accurate or trying to portray real places. This is just a fun series for me to get back into the swing of things, and hopefully for you guys to enjoy. Look at those mountains. They're fearsome. And usually I don't play around with many hills. Would have seen some rough terrain in our Jamaica series, but I don't think it was quite this extreme. But yeah, this sort of area is going to be a lot of farmland. Really wish we could make kind of paddy fields and stuff, but if any modders out there catch wind of this and want help with a paddy field texture, I'd be very grateful. Also, one of the requests I do have is train track buffers. We're going to end up with the default ones on the track, and not a big fan of that. So if anyone knows of any either Chinese or Japanese buffers, that would be brilliant. Send me a link, or if anyone can make them, again, I'd be very grateful for those. As you can see, we have got some autumn tree in here. One of the mods, one of the many mods installed has caused that. But we also have the default trees here. So early plans is to kind of focus on Furen and Kawakita. I think we need to get in a port of some sort so we can start importing our raw materials so we can get things underway. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So Kawakita, there's going to be some terrain sculpting going on. Rip all this out, I think, and more or less level it out, because this is going to be our main city, I believe. Things may change, and everything will expand over time. One thing I do have though is the no building mod, so the game cannot expand beyond what is here now. which I think is going to be fun, because it means we get to build everything up from this point onwards. And obviously we have our town here. Everyone's kind of brightly coloured. Suppose, yeah, maybe 1945. Yeah, that kind of, yeah, does look right. Have our industries in here. All this will change over time though. Yeah, that looks hideous. Let's get rid of that, I think. But there we go. As our first bit of building is actually destruction. So anyway, without further ado, guess I should go do a bit of building, and the reason I'm going to do that off screen is kind of find the early stages not that fun to watch. So I'm going to go and make plans, start building this up, and you can join me after that. So be back with you in a second. So you rejoin me 2 years later at Kawakita. As you see, we pass over a small residential development there, close by our brand new station. Now this station isn't in use at the moment. It's literally a brand new build. The government are working on it to connect to other areas in the city. We have some mid-rises to our left, and running down the road, as you can probably see, there are functional tram line. Now this tram line has been put in to help ferry people around, and we pass our fuel station there just before we get towards the end of our tram line here, which is a loop stop. So yep, look around and we'll take a look back at our town. How about we take a look at some of those details, a bit more depth. As I say, we've got our tram stop at the outer limits of the town here at Kawakita East. Annoyingly, this road join doesn't render road crossing, so this may get taken out at some point. I don't know. We'll see. As you see, we come here. Big old line of trams. Have a look at what's going on here. Right. The managed line. So the problem is 7th Street. What happens if we change that? Doing our lovely autosave there. Right, that looks like it's fixed it now. Fortunately, the trams may jump around a bit while the reset. It has caused a bit of a backlog down this end of the route, but hey ho. Anyway, we come here to our fuel station, and anyone who is a fan of Initial D will know that in the live action film it was an NEOS fuel station where kind of all the background action took place. It's where two of the actors worked, or two of the characters, sorry, worked there. And yeah, just thought that's a nice, neat little touch, having that in. But moving further on, this is more sort of the original town as it was. Laid in a few extra roads. Interesting how it's got a junction there. Also there. But we'll ignore that for the minute. And we'll come and have a look at this. As I say, they are in the process of building the railway at the moment. Whilst we have our kind of trams, what have you, traffic, and that car for some reason is driving down the wrong side of the road. Train station is very much in the progress of being built. We go along further, you see a couple of little businesses set up there. Some historical trains stored in there, which realistically probably shouldn't be there because, you know, we don't have trains up until this point. But we'll ignore that. Here we have a couple of brand new buildings that were manually placed. The idea is kind of this whole area is going to get filled out with more high-rise type buildings, just to give a more modern look to the area. Get rid of that tree in the middle there. And then moving more on, see over here the more suburban area. Got some small cottages that have been built by the government, just sort of single family homes. Try and get people to move to the area, really. Whilst there's not much going on at the moment, the government does want to get people to move to the island so it can prosper. We have Mr. Nakagawa Asahi, who obviously lives in one of these buildings. Yep. Anyway, moving on. Road sort of curves out to here. This is where we find the other end of the line, out by the newly built Yakiniku Foods, built by a local company that got a government grant to expand and become a food producer in the area. One other thing we do need to look at is how all this expansion's taking place, and that is through this hastily erected freight line with imported Chinese trains, which is bringing in goods from the port over here, which of course, as you'd seen in the earlier part of the video, is being fed from mainland. Now, in practical terms, this isn't actually shipping anything yet. It's just literally, wow, the LOD on that is really terrible. We may have to rip that out. Yeah, this is just kind of more of a scenic thing at the moment. Although, of course, as we move on, the port will get some use. So there we have it. That's where we're at for the moment. Hopefully this town will expand as we start producing goods, feeding. To that end, we need to start getting some trucks, bringing food from our farm down here and delivering it up to here. What we're going to do is do that. Like so. And if we come here, you can see this is actually a road depot. Ah, what trucks to use? That can take all food, all cargo, sorry. When was it built? (1938) onwards. Yeah, so these are brand new. Don't want these. We use these. We'll pick 4 of those. New line is going to be from Meter Farms to Yakiniku Foods. One thing we are going to do, just because we don't want our truck travelling through the centre of town, we're going to put a waypoint out here. I have is, yeah. Don't want traffic driving right hand drive. So let's bring up our line again. And Meter Farms. Want you to use that in like so. Not exactly working the way I want that to. Yeah, transparent. See if we can make that one work any better. Maybe not. Right, that one works. No. So that's a problem, yeah. Okay. Forget that. So this is key to food processing, we'll call that. And what I'm going to do is move those waypoints, because obviously they're not working the way we'd like. Our trucks. They managed to get down here yet. Ah. That's a problem. So for some reason, our road vehicles here aren't following the rules of the road. In theory, they should come out and they should use correct lanes respectively. Try 2 trucks. On food processing. There's something very wrong there because I don't know. Yeah, the game road vehicles at least doesn't seem to recognize it. Use the left and right lanes, unless it's to do with that type of road. We managed to lose the trucks now. I do apologise, guys. This isn't quite the video I had in mind, was watching trucks fail to navigate roads. So they're driving on the right side of the road there. But we'll come back to that. Does seem to be some teething trouble still with the left-hand drive mod. If I can't get it to work, then I will of course remove it. Now what are you doing? Manage line. Nope. There. Just have a quick look along here. So 3rd Street. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Manage line. Fifth Street. So, just go across. Yes. So at least the trams are doing what they're told, even if our trucks aren't. There. In theory, we've got that working now. Of course, once we've gathered up some food, we'll be able to put some trucks on here, start transporting it into our town. If we just have a look at land use layer, see the commercial area kind of out here. So what we will do in advance of that is lay it down. We're going to add in drop-off point just in here. Number of terminals 1. Well, connection street length. Done. What we're going to do is just line that up. So set that. That. And then all we need to do is go that. That. Yeah, that's fine. all around it. And here streets. Right. That's better. Great. Grab the correct bottleneck. There we go. That's going to be our drop-off point in the city for our trucks. If they behave themselves. Is a big if. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed our first look here at Eurasia Island. If you have, go ahead, hit that like button, consider a subscription, and whilst you wait for the next one, go check out my other videos, both on Transport Fever 2 and other train related videos, by following the link at the end of this video, or just have a subscription and you can check them out at your leisure. Right, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.